Well, it's exciting. First day of training camp. Well, second day, first day on the ice. It's nice to see everyone in person, and I guess to some extent feel like we're at a normal training camp. It's been a lot of excitement in the building. Nice to have the guys. The coaches put a lot of work in to get ready for this. So here we are. But excited about today. I'm certainly happy to answer any questions you guys have.
What was the result of Jack's physical, and what is his status in the organization, Kevin?
Yep. Probably before I get into specific on where we are today, just to back up, I think it's really important to talk about, since this process has begun with Jack, his health has been what's most important to all of us, his health as a person. That's from me, through our medical staff, the whole organization. I think we would all agree that we were hoping to, as we work through the off season, to avoid surgery. Certainly with any injury, in particular in this one, when you're dealing with the neck, that would have been best case scenario. Unfortunately, yesterday, Jack did not pass his physical. At this point, Jack is not willing to move forward with what our doctors are suggesting is the fusion surgery. So we're going to continue to work towards solutions. I will say Pat Brisson has been great to deal with since he's gotten involved in this process. We speak multiple times a day. He's one of the best in the business for a reason, and we're going to continue to work at this. But it's obviously a challenging situation, but that's where we are as of this morning.
Has he been placed on long-term? Is he going to be placed on long-term IR, or what is the next move? And could he be suspended?
Well, he would be on injured reserve. And we'll look at everything moving forward. You know, that's not something we take lightly. Obviously, there's rules within the CBA, but we'll continue, John, to look at everything moving forward.
Back in late July, Jack's last agents said that they were initially under the impression that you guys would approve the surgery. What do you think the disconnect was there?
Yeah, I don't know, Lance. That's I'm not sure how that was ever said. What I can tell you is we have absolute trust in our doctors. They are the medical experts. They've been consistent since day one. As I mentioned, first and foremost, the health of Jack as a person, not the hockey player. Secondly, how do we get through a process where you're hoping to avoid surgery and getting a player back on the ice? And then lastly, if we were at the point where surgery was an option, they've never wavered from what they've suggested would be the next step. And if there was something else done, that they would be uncomfortable with it. So I have no idea. But as I've said to you guys before, I'm not a doctor. My job isn't to try to suggest certain things to doctors. My job is to listen, gather all the information, ask questions, and then make the best decisions for our organization moving forward.
The main reason given before for not allowing the artificial disc replacement was that it hadn't been done on an NHL player. What more is there to that? Because obviously Tommy John surgery had never been done until the first one. So what more is there that doesn't want that?
Yeah, John, I think doctors are doctors for a reason, and I'm not one, but they're the experts. So I've learned a lot over the last number of months about different things and possibilities, but it's tough for me to answer specifics on types of surgeries. I just listen to our doctors and experts, and I do ask a lot of questions, and I try to understand. That's where they're at. We trust them 100%. There are certainly ours. You guys know the other team in town. They work for them as well. These are experts, and that's what they believe. People have options that they going to look at. He's certainly been educated, and I give Jack a lot of credit in terms of doing his research and trying to understand different options. But our doctors have been clear from the beginning. If we got to this point, that's where they felt they would be comfortable.
In your mind, is it impossible to trade Jack until he has some sort of surgery?
I don't know if I want to get into exactly that type of thing. What I would say was we're open to it. Like I've said before, with any player, how do we make our organization better? We have a plan. We are going to stick to our plan. In the short term, a little bit medium, and then longer term, we're going to stick to it. And if we have an opportunity to do that, and we feel it's the right thing for a franchise, then we'll do it. Now, if there was a solution over the course of the summer, and that was an opportunity we thought made sense, we would have done it. But obviously that's not the case, so we'll see where we go from here.
Kevin, how situation help this team moving forward? Because there's no foreseeable way to have this, no foreseeable resolution on the horizon. How does this help this team?
Sorry, John, can you explain it?
With Jack Eichel being sidelined,
Yeah.
definitely.
Oh, Jack's one of the best players in the world, and that's why I say getting him, having him healthy playing is what we all want. So we'll continue to look at every possibility of how we get there, and then if there's an opportunity to do something that we think's right for a franchise, we'll do it. But it's a challenging situation, obviously. But we're gonna continue to work at it. I want to say this, guys. This is so critical in how we move forward with this franchise, with building the culture and engaging with our fan base and getting this group of fans and people to trust this organization. We have to earn that. We have to earn that. And that's a message that went to the team yesterday. I just think that's very powerful. I'm going to keep saying it. We need to build around people that want to be here for the right reasons. We feel really good about some of our young core that's here. We're going to continue to identify that. We feel really good about some of our veteran people, whether they've been here that we brought in that can help mentor, that have been good pros in this league, John. And then there's players that we brought in that are maybe somewhere in the middle, but they have a chip on their shoulder to earn something, improve something. And so that's why we're building this a certain way, and we won't compromise on that. Go ahead. You haven't had him.
Is he still the captain of this team, and will he remain the captain?
I spoke to Jack 2 days ago. I spoke to the team yesterday and addressed this. Jack Eichel is no longer the captain of the Buffalo Sabres. From our perspective and my perspective, I feel the captain is the heartbeat of your team, and we're in a situation from where we were in the past and where we are now that felt that we needed to address that and make that decision.
Is he around the team? I mean, is he going to stay around the team? Do you think it's a healthy dynamic for him to be around the guys?
Sorry, let me get a sip of water here. Jack was here for his physical. He's made it clear to me, and I will say this: Jack and I have had a lot of conversations together, in person, on the phone, over the course of this offseason. I've spoken to his previous agents daily, his Pat Brisson daily. There's been a lot of communication. Jack's here for his physical. He made it clear to me that he doesn't want to be a distraction. He doesn't want to, take away from what we are trying to build here. So he will continue his rehab, not necessarily in this facility on a daily basis, but, and then we'll work towards where we go from here.
How much is his preference to have this specific surgery held up trade talks and made this and really led us to where we are today, where he's still in your organization and a deal hasn't been done?
Well, Lance, I think it goes back to what I said. A lot of teams, as I spoke to, and again, this isn't unique to Jack. Well, I guess it is because of the situation we're in, but teams want clarity. And over the course of the summer, there wasn't great clarity. We have more clarity now. The hope and the strategy that we were working through in the offseason was to how do we get Jack Eichel healthy and how to, if possible, avoid a surgical procedure. Now we know where we're at, and that does provide clarity, but I do think that's played a role in this. I mean, this is an elite franchise player in his prime, under contract, and we need to, as an organization, move forward, but we can't compromise on certain things we believe, and but we're gonna work at it. Every day we do, we have in the past, and we'll continue to.
You've obviously had a lot of talks. You have a value for Jack so far. 31 other teams. How, other than the injury, where is the disconnect on his value?
Well, I guess that's hard for me to answer in the sense that I'm not going to get into specifics on conversations, but I would probably suggest that everyone in this room and across the hockey world believes that a healthy Jack Eichel is a franchise player, and these type of situations don't come up very often where players are moved. So I know there's been a lot of things speculated. We believe there's value on Jack Eichel, and we will do what we need to do as an organization to do the best we can moving forward, and that's how we're going to do this.
Kevin, you talked about you have some clarity now. I think the point of confusion is it seemed over the summer there was clarity. The team wanted one surgery, Jack wanted one surgery. Now you're saying, well, we were trying to avoid surgery. I mean, the disconnect there strikes me. Didn't you always agree there was going to be surgery?
Well, no, I don't.
Once the rest of rehab was done. I mean,
Yeah, but I think that's fair point. But as you go through this process, he was examined quite often in Buffalo, other places. Our doctors looking at it saw there was slight improvements as the summer from strength and imaging, and even if they're minimal, but that gives you hope. And I guess what I would say is, it's hard to put an exact timeline to say, okay, by this date, if he's not, 100% and cleared, then you're going to have surgery. So it's a little bit of a moving target, but I guess the bigger point, Mike, is we're looking to do everything we could to avoid that, knowing that if we got to the point where surgery was going to be considered an option, yeah, those discussions had happened over the course of the last few months, and where we would go from here. Now we're in this situation. Jack's, of the same mindset he was. Our doctors are of the same mindset. So that's where we're at right now, and we're just going to have to continue to work at what the solution is moving forward.
I mean, we've been in this since May when Jack initially told us the disconnect. You went through the draft, you went through free agency, Jack changed agents. I mean, it's September 23rd. What changes on October 23rd or November 23rd? I guess what I'm asking is, how do you break the stalemate here and not let it go 6 months, a year? I mean, he's got 5 years left. You guys could conceivably just let him sit around and do nothing.
Well, I guess if there was an easy solution, we would have acted on it. So we're going to have to continue to look at this on a daily basis. As of now, we are in a situation where we have a player that is resistant to what our experts are saying, and we are going to continue to trust what our medical doctors tell us, which is in the best interest of Jack as a human being and as a hockey player. I don't think it's probably smart for me to start to speculate on down the road in the future of what could or couldn't happen, but we are adamant that we're going to stay on top of this, do what's best for the franchise, and whether that means today or that means it takes time. I don't want to put a timeline on it because then it's out there, but I'm not sure when it's going to be, but we'll continue to work at it.
And certainly the CBA is in the team's favor. But how much concern do you have about the optics of the situation in the eyes of other players, other GMs, and especially given what Robin Leonard said about previous medical staff people here over the summer?
I am really, really, how do I say this the right way? I wake up every day thinking about how do we get better today? How do we move this franchise forward? How do we make our fans proud? How do we earn the respect from you guys, from our fans, from the league? I don't live in the past. I think you can learn from the past, but I'm not interested in living in the past. So for me, that's not helpful. But what we will do is we will do things the right way. We will stick to our plan, and we're not going to cave or back down because of pressure or because people are saying you have to do this. We're going to do what we believe is right, and my job is to take all the information and do what we believe is right for this franchise, and that's what we're going to do.
Kevin, is it possible that Jack has played his final game in Buffalo?
Yeah, for me, that's just a question that's not going to get into predicting the future. What I can say is, when it's the right time that we have a solution, we're going to make the right decision.
You look back on the summer, and Sam Reinhart gets moved, the Ristolainen gets moved, but kind of looking with Jack, the longer this drags out, do you feel like this kind of throws a wrench in that you're talking about your plans, like what you're trying to build here?
This is fluid. This is in this job, you have a plan, and we need to draft well. We need to develop our players. We need to retain our own players. We need to build around people that want to be here. It is so important. When I look in guys' eyes in the locker room, I know they want to be a Buffalo Sabre. They want to put that jersey on. When you have that as your plan, you stick to it. You can't get caught up in next week or tomorrow or a month, because that's not how it works. When things come together, it's the right time, you make the right decision. And there's certain pressure points. That's why trades happen at certain times more than others, or a player gets signed at a certain time. That's natural in this job. But when you're talking about this level and how we're putting something together, we're sticking to it.
What gives you confidence
Yeah, Lance, that is a great question, and it's something I addressed yesterday with the team. Jack Eichel is friends with these players. I was a player. It's deeper than you work together, to make it simple. There's relationships. They care about each other. Those players in the locker room care about Jack Eichel as a person. They want to see Jack healthy, back playing hockey. We all understand that. I addressed that with the team yesterday. The key for us now is they have clarity. The players have heard it directly from me. They understand exactly the situation we're in. They are now all about how do we move forward together? Who is in this locker room? Why are they in this locker room? How do we get better? That's what those guys are talking about every day, and that's what gets me excited. So it doesn't diminish the fact that there's a friend of theirs that's in this situation, but this is a mature group, And you look at guys like Okposo, and you look at guys like Gergensen, and then Craig Anderson that have been in this league and are respected through this league, and then you look at guys, and there's others that are more veterans. Then you look at certain younger players that took massive steps, not just on the ice, but in terms of the locker room and in terms of their voice. And that's the Dahleens and, Middlestats and Cousins. And these are just really hungry players. And when you look in their eyes and you see we're about moving forward. And that's the message that I have for them. They have for me. And Donnie will and the coaches will be talking about it every day.
Will you have a captain this year?
No, right now we're going to let this group learn and grow and kind of figure out to some extent themselves. And the captain is the critical role in an NHL team, but it's not unprecedented where you kind of let it play itself out. And there's a lot of voices in there that are strong, that are good, that are good pros. So we'll just instead of rushing into that, we're just going to let this play itself out a little bit.
And what is the club's vaccination status?
100%. Yeah, it's great, and the NHL policies were very clear, yeah, that's a great thing for us, in terms of where we're at as we start camp.
You had mentioned being in control of this process. I guess simply put, what is the next step in your process?
Well, I think, I'll go back to if we had an easy solution, we would have acted on it. We'll continue to look at every possible scenario of how we move forward. There's a CBA for a reason. Obviously, that's in place, and we all want to, continue to work together in how we move forward. So that's really where we're at. We're going to trust our doctors. I'm going to be in a position where I continue to ask questions, continue to gather information, continue to talk to managers around the league every day. Provide them clarity, explain our situation, and then when it's the right time and there's a resolution, you will all know.
Kevin, are you getting any pressure from ownership to get this done and get this moving?
Exact opposite. Terry and Kim have been absolutely phenomenal through this process. I talk to them multiple times a day, both of them, and I have since I've had the job, but more particularly with this situation, just making sure they're up to speed. They are unbelievably supportive and helpful in this process. They ask me questions. They bring up things that maybe I hadn't thought of, and it's just a constant communication back and forth. And again, they're an extension of what I said. They care about Jack Eichel, the person. They want to see Jack Eichel healthy. The hockey player is secondary, but they've been tremendous through this, and I'm really appreciative of that.
Are you at a point where the door is still open for conversations with other GMs right now about Jack?
Yep. It's maybe why I was a minute too late. You're talking every single day. And if I'm on the other side, and I have been in different situations, I want clarity. I want to understand. So yeah, conversations are happening a lot, and they'll continue to happen until we resolve this.
Where are you hitting that stalemate?
Well, I think it's, part of it isn't a stalemate. Part of it's just an understanding. And there's take away this type of situation, just on any normal player transaction. If you're making a trade in general, there's a ton of work that goes into that before you ultimately get to the point. So in this situation, when you're having conversations, there's a lot of moving parts, and there's, as you guys know, this is unique. You have a a player at this age that is a franchise level player, but that has this, uncertainty around where he's at health wise. So part of it's the clarity, and then part of it is them understanding, okay, what are we looking to do, and then how do we go from there?
What was your reaction when he said the fusion surgery was not something he believed in?
Well, I think, any player through any type of situation has the ability to, look at options and, make decisions. But what I've tried to do is just ask questions of Jack too, and help him understand where our doctors are coming from. And I got to tell you, John, our doctors have done, in my opinion, an unbelievable job providing clarity to Jack in why this was. If we got to this point, and he had exhausted his, rehab process, why they felt this would make sense, why they felt that this was the appropriate next step. And Jack asked questions back, and that's now where we're at. But I do think there's been great communication, just maybe a difference of opinion.
I know you're not a doctor, but can this degenerate more if he doesn't have either surgery? If he sits around for another year, can this degenerate?
Sorry, can it what?
Degenerate. Like, can it get even worse?
Oh, no, I guess that's more for the doctor. But I think any what I've learned through this process is time is always good. When you're talking about this type of injury, more time generally leads to better result. But nobody can say it's going to be this day or this day. And obviously, our hope was that he came in here yesterday and would have been to the point where cleared when we wouldn't be having this conversation, but that didn't happen. And I understand from a medical position why our doctors, you would want to give it every possible time to get to that point and avoid any type of surgery.
Kevin, we've just spent 20 minutes talking about Jack Eichel for good reason. But he is one spoke in this whole situation where the entire hockey world thinks your team is going to be terrible. And some people out of town have already said you're tanking. What is your message to people, and what was your message to those players when basically no one in North America thinks you guys have any chance or are going to be any good?
It's about doing things the right way, and it's about building. And it would be easy for me to stand here, Mike, and get upset at that type of question or statement that you said. But I think the better answer to that is we need to earn it. I am not wanting to just say what's happened over the past 10 years. Here's what you learn from it. This is about us as an organization, the culture of our team, earning the respect on a daily basis. And I said that yesterday. It's every conversation, it's every practice, it's every workout, it's every game. We have to earn it. And if you have that mentality, okay, as a player, then it starts to build and it starts to grow. I could get mad and say, no, you know what? Okay, we have to earn it. And when we do, then everything will take care of itself. And I am so excited about when I look in some of these young guys' eyes, and I know they have a connectivity to the family in the 300 level that is doing everything they can to provide for their family and still come and cheer our team on. That's the connection that we need as an organization. We can't forget about what's most important, and it's that this is something special in a town that cares, that wants to see hard work, that wants to see people own it. If you're not good enough, own it. And I said that to the players. You know what? If you were not good on the ice, then just say, I got to be better. Don't make excuses. I don't want an organization where we make excuses. And so that's, I guess, the answer to that, Mike. But you know what? We have a plan in place. We are going to stick to this plan. We will not back down from pressure, from criticism, from wherever the external noise comes from, and we're going to trust it. And I'm excited about that. That's what gets me excited every day.
Kevin, are there any other players other than Jack that are injured and not ready to start camp?
A couple are kind of day-to-day, what I would say. Jack Quinn is not injured. We're just being careful as he came back from his surgery in the off season, so he won't skate today, and hopefully he's doing his skating on the side, and then hopefully he'll be skating tomorrow with the team and moving forward. Brandon Byros day to day. Samuelson, what I would say week to week. He looked tremendous to me in rookie camp. And he blocked a shot there, and so he's a little more than day to day, but yeah, those are the three right now, and then there's a couple like, as you know, Rusek that that you guys know from rookie camp, but overall healthy. And Rasmus Dahlin will not be on the ice today because of just testing NHL protocols. He came in, tested, but the way the rules work, he has to get through today and then be on the ice tomorrow.
Was he in Sweden when you got that done, or was he here?
Florida, working out, skating there, so shorter flight.
Take two more.
With Darlene, how did you land where you landed contractually?
Yeah, Duffer. It was a lengthy process. I mean, those negotiations, I would say, started. The months are off because of the way the schedule was, but fairly early in the off season, and went obviously until midnight when we finally agreed, whatever day that the days were running together. But what was really important for us in that process was to make sure Rasmus and his agents understood how important he is to us moving forward. And when I talk about young core, I look at someone like Rasmus, who wants to be a Buffalo Sabre, really loves playing here and loves this organization and wants to be part of the solution. That matters. Now you look at how do we get there and what's the right term, and all that stuff comes into play. But I'm excited. This is a great signing for him to come in and now have the ability to continue to grow, continue to get better. As talented as Rasmus is, and I mean, say that about all our guys, doesn't matter what age, but when you're that age and you've already had that much experience, but you're still that young, this is an amazing opportunity for him to take the next step in his career.
Did he want the bridge deal to kind of prove to you guys that he can maybe earn that 8-year deal? Is that something he wanted?
Yeah, I think we were open to anything, and so were they. And as we went through negotiations, we did talk about longer term. We talked about how would that work and what makes the most sense for him, what makes the most sense for us as a franchise. And obviously we landed where we landed because we felt, I would say, not to put words in Newport sports mouths, but I think we kind of felt that it came together and felt it was right for both of us. And I think it gives us an opportunity to set him up moving forward. I'm glad he wasn't a holdout and having to miss and then play catch up. But I do think you're right. For him, he thought an opportunity where, hey, I can come in and continue to get better and grow, and then push for the next one.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Have a good day.